Are you looking for performance parts for your first generation or second generation CRUZE? Check out supercruises.com today so you can order your parts directly from me. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming to the Dave's World YouTube channel. So, today is not a Chevy SS video, but it was in our way and I need it out of the way so I can get into the Chevy CRUZE. What I want to do today is I would like to wire up the methanol injection. I'm pretty exhausted, so I'm gonna do as much as I can. Hopefully my goal is to get it done in driving. I'm trying to pull a favor and talk to a friend of mine who owns a performance shop. He really only does Corvettes and like V8 powered cars, but I'm trying to see if we can get this car on his dyno because it's a hub driven dyno. And well, I just want to go to a friend's shop because he's a cool guy. So I'm going to rush to get the car done. I just don't know if I'll be able to get it to the dyno soon. I would like to have it to the dyno as fast as possible, but they might not have an opening for me for maybe 2 months. I have no idea, but I'm going to try my hardest to get the car there. The reason I want to use the hub dyno is because I could actually be in the dyno room and I could actually film the dyno numbers as it's happening, as opposed to having to show you guys a printout versus the other shop. So I'm trying. Please don't hold me to that, but I'm going to try my hardest to do that for everybody. What I want to do in this video today is I have a gauge pod that's universal. We're going to figure out a place inside the car to put it. I'm going to run the wires for this shift light. This is a universal shift light. I'm not even sure if it'll work with these coils, but I'm going to try and wire that into the coils. And then I have to figure out how to wire up this temperature gauge, because if you guys remember from the other video, I actually put a temperature probe in my intercooler, and I have a temperature probe in this little test pipe here. I'm actually testing two things. I'm testing the carbon fiber intercooler pipe, and I'm testing the methanol injection temperature, and actually the intercooler temperature. So we're testing three things at once. I want to just get the car set up so the next series of videos while I'm driving this car on the road, you get to actually see real numbers. You get to see real intercooler temperature numbers. You get to see real methanol injection temperature numbers. When we go to the dyno, you're going to see methanol injection horsepower numbers. And then, yeah, it's just going to be a cool video series. Okay, everyone, it wouldn't be one of my videos without an add-on thrown in. I've been basically going back and forth with people in the community going over the methanol injection system. Now, this system is a 100% system, meaning it's designed for 100% methanol. However, I also developed a budget version. What this will allow you to do is two things. It will basically cut the price more than in half. So instead of you needing all these bells and whistles because you're running 100% methanol, I could actually cut out a lot of the materials and basically change the type of hoses and lines and the controller so you can run a 50-50 mixture. This also allows me to change the type of tank we have. So you could do two things with the tank. We can still use the washer fluid tank, so that'll gives you about, I don't know, a gallon and a half to 2 gallons to supply your system. Or we can use what I was using as a washer fluid tank as your methanol injection tank. So what we can do is you don't even have to touch your washer fluid. We can use this as the methanol injection tank with 50-50 methanol, and we can still run the pump in the same spot with my custom brackets and use this as the supply tank. This allows me again to cut some costs because we don't have to tap into the factory tank. We can now use this tank. So this budget version will be available on the website at a much better price, and that way you guys can save a buck too instead of going, you know, full on crazy like I do with Cruise Missile. I treat this car like a performance car, which is why I have such expensive stuff in the car. One more thing I forgot to mention before we get to work. This methanol injection system is made to fit the CRUZE. Everything in it is set up, which you're going to see, for a CRUZE. However, if you decide down the road you want to sell your car, you can hang on to this methanol injection system. It can be adapted to another car. Let me know if you decide to do that. The kit might just work the way it is. Here's why. This right here reads boost. All it needs is a boost reference. It doesn't need anything special. I designed the system so all you need to do is get boost on this rubber hose right here. That's it. So If you put it on a different car and it reads desired boost, the methanol injection is going to turn on. So if you want to adapt it to another car, just talk to me, and you can literally use a different tank. We can add a tank to the system. If you need a longer line, a shorter line, we can do that. Just let me know. If you sell your car, keep the system. You can make more power on another car. You're going to see me basically fiddling with a lot of wires. Basically, this green wire is for the meth injection, but then all of these wires are for the shift light, right? And then I have a whole nother box of wires for the temperature gauge that's going in. Really, for the methanol injection, it's like 4 wires going through the firewall. It's very easy, but you're going to see me passing a lot of wires through the firewall, not just because of the methanol. It's the methanol, it's the shift light, which has to go to the coil, and I have a power wire. And then it's the temperature gauge, which is going to have 2 sets of green and black wires. It's going to look like a lot of wires, but really it's only like 5 wires for the meth injection, and 3 of them are in their own harness. It's very easy to do. Alright, so I decided to throw the temperature gauge basically up here. I have this little cluster of gauges that I would not normally do in my car, but, you know, because this is a show on YouTube, I need to be able to show you guys what's happening as I'm driving. That's why everything is here. I did have a couple ideas of putting the gauges down inside the dashboard, and I did come up with this pod. You could get this on my site. I actually don't remember if I even put it on the site, but this is a really cool gauge pod where it just plugs in, and you can put, you know, one single gauge, and it gives you like a USB charging port. I probably could put the temperature gauge down here and then keep the boost gauge, and then maybe, I don't know, maybe I could put 2 gauges down here and keep the one up here. I don't know what I want to really do permanently, but for right now, just for YouTube purposes, we will keep everything up here. And then I think what I'm going to do is maybe put the shift light up here or temporarily down here. I don't know just yet, but the shift light's definitely going to be going somewhere out in the open just so we can keep an eye on the shifting. I don't know. I really don't need a shift light, but at the same time, this thing does rev very fast now, and that's the reason for the shift light. I caught myself a few times while driving, basically over revving the engine. I would just bang right off the rev limiter because what I was doing was focusing on my boost, or I was focusing on air fuel ratio and not actually looking at my tach. So, you know, obviously I had some air fuel ratio problems. And for me, I need the shift light, not so much because I don't know how to shift, but mostly because if I'm trying to test something on the car and I'm not paying attention, I need something to give me a warning like, hey, dummy, stop revving the engine. So that's why I'm installing the shift light. We are in pretty good shape. What I want to do next is probably continue on the wiring. Okay, so methanol. I like a meth injection system because I can literally go to an auto parts store and pick this stuff up. I can get it at Home Depot. I can get it at Lowe's. This is cheap. I think I paid like $1 for 12 ounces or something like that. So this is, I mean, this is probably a month, if not 6 weeks worth of methanol. Again, depending on what you're doing, this could end up being a day's worth, because if you're racing, you're going to go through a lot of it. But if you're just driving normal and every once in a while you're hitting the gas hard, you're not using a lot. Okay, this is just the test. Nothing's installed. I'm just going to make sure our controller lights up and our air-fuel ratio changes when we test the system. Okay. Let's wait for the air-fuel ratio gauge to, it does like a self-check. Okay. Air-fuel ratio gauge is ready. I turn this off, we're just gonna switch it on. So that's what that red LED means. And then if you look at the air-fuel ratio, I'm gonna rev the engine slightly. So you see how it's staying steady at about, 14 to 15 to 1 air-fuel ratio. If you push this test button, you'll actually see this go rich. I'm gonna push the test button right now. Keep an eye on the air-fuel ratio. And see, it just went rich. Okay, so 2 days ago I was exhausted. I ended up getting this thing running. I ended up testing it with you guys, and then I filmed it into the video, but I was so tired I hated the way it looked. So what did I do since then? I'm the king of unfinished projects. What do I have here? I have a quad. The reason I have this is because my oldest ended up, we basically separated the rooms. My youngest and oldest each have separate rooms. I gave my oldest the smaller room, and I said I would treat him to a quad because he had the smaller room and my youngest has the bigger room. But I'm not one of those people that's gonna go out and spend like $1,500 to treat a 10-year-old to something he may or may not like. I decided to go out and buy a $200 quad and teach him how to fix stuff. So quad's here in pieces, but I was able to get it running yesterday. We basically went out in the woods for a little bit, had a lot of fun. Then I ran down to Atlantic City and checked out Fluffy, Gabriel Iglesias. Fantastic show. I had a lot of fun. So I took the day off. I needed it. But I wanted to go over what we're doing with CRUZE Missile. Next episode on CRUZE Missile, we're going to finish wiring up the temperature sensors for the intercooler and the intercooler pipe. We're going to finish wiring up the coil to work with the shift light. We're going to get the shift light and the temperature gauge installed in the dash. I also spoke to one of the owners of East Coast Supercharging. I did a lot of filming up there when I started my YouTube channel. I made friends with them. I really like going there. I don't know if it's going to cost me money or not, but I'm going to be getting this car on their dyno. We're just trying to figure out if the dyno has the adapters to put the hubs on the car. I don't know when it's going to be. I would really like to do it soon. Hopefully it'll be within the next couple weeks. Then I can show you guys the horsepower and what the methanol injection system does on the car with the big turbo and the intercooler. It's going to be amazing. I'm excited to show everybody. I just wanted to let you guys know what was going on with me, and I hope you're enjoying this video series. I wanted to show people what it's like to get power out of a car in a safer manner, not just buy stuff cheap and make it work. I wanted to show people what to do to actually get real power out of these cars, do it safe, do it legal, not have any problems, and actually throw dyno numbers out there with footage of the car actually on the dyno, so I have proof of everything. I'm not just one of those people that says stuff. I'm trying my hardest to bring you guys everything. It's all expensive, but I'm doing it because I know you guys want to see it, and I do what I can for my subscribers. And I really appreciate everything that you guys do, and thank you very much.